Willikers, everybody! Phase 4 has started for all of us tonight, and it's time to discuss WandaVision in full spoiler detail in the first two episodes. Episodes 1 through 2 just premiered, and I am so excited to dive into this with you guys. Guys, we are seriously in Phase 4. It's taken over a year. Literally over a year and more, but I'm excited to have you guys here with me, guys. So make sure to hit that like and subscribe. And if you guys enjoy Marvel geeky content, all sorts of that great stuff, we're going to be talking about that every single week at the same time, recapping, spoiler reviews, and just having a great discussion about this brand new show and any other future Marvel or Star Wars shows coming to Disney Plus at this exact same time. I love doing it. I did it for The Mandalorian. I did it for Clone Wars, and you sure right know I'm going to be doing it for WandaVision here. So make sure to comment down below and let me know your guys' theories, thoughts, especially on these first two episodes, which again, we will be going into full spoiler detail, and I'm excited about this. So let's get straight into it. WandaVision has been a show that I've been looking forward to for so long. And it's looked to be the most unique thing Marvel has done yet. I mean, they've done Guardians of the Galaxy, they did Ant-Man, those two things were extremely weird, but absolutely everything I could imagine them to be. And thankfully, WandaVision is everything like that and more. This totally is the straight up show that you've seen from the trailers. It's the straight sitcom from era to era in these first two episodes, and I adore it to pieces. Now, of course, like, these are way before I was even alive, so I don't get all the references to the certain sitcom elements, but when it comes to Marvel stuff, I do. Even though it seems like not a lot of stuff happened in the first two episodes, there was still a lot. There was a lot of Easter eggs here and there, and just little things that I want to talk about, and that's why I had to take some notes today, guys. So episode 1, we're going to start with that one. It shows them moving in. We get this awesome opening and intro song, which is just brilliant, and again, really cool to see how each episode so far has done a different theme and also a different intro, again, reflecting on the era of sitcom that we are currently in. I really dug that. But of course, they move on in, and just the jokes aside, everything in that nature just flows so well. And Elizabeth Olsen has never been more charming than she has as Wanda in this show. I've always appreciated her in the role. I think she's absolutely killed it, but I think this really has shown her to open up more, and I can't wait to see the future of her character, especially after the events of WandaVision, which in these first two episodes, we know Vision is dead after Infinity War. I'm interested to see how this is pretty much the epilogue to her story afterwards, and also the start of Phase 4 and the start of this whole multiverse thing going on. And Kevin Feige's already stated that, especially it starts here, goes to Spider-Man 3, and then of course Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, which I can't wait. Those three are like some of my most anticipated properties ever, but moving forward into this, it's exciting nonetheless to see how they are handling this show, and even talking about Paul Bettany. Paul Bettany strolls into this as Vision and just wipes the floor away with it. I mean, Paul Bettany's an excellent actor, and he's done a great job as Vision, but this role, this type of content is able to let him open up and flesh her out a little bit more of what Vision truly is, and I adore it. I love what Paul Bettany and especially Elizabeth Olsen are doing in these roles as Wanda and Vision. It's just absolutely brilliant. But it's cool to see, you know, they're opening up, they're having these minor jokes, and again, jokes that Marvel fans will truly get. Like, my grandma couldn't watch this, and I don't think she'd get all the jokes, but like the small joke of like, oh honey, what do you want to eat today? And he goes, oh, nothing. Oh, that makes sense. Our fridge is empty. And it's just funny things like that, because we know Vision is an android, and the small little things towards that. Of course, even Vision going to his job per se, and having and finishing everything, and everything's up 300%. But the smallest subtle details is how, again, they do throw back to some of those old sitcom things that I do understand. I don't understand them all, but I understand some of them, and especially like the boss is coming over tonight. We have to impress him. It's Mr. Heart. That's why the heart was on the calendar. But Elizabeth Olsen doesn't even know. Wanda doesn't even know what that heart is for. Maybe it's for their anniversary, which she thinks it is, and they have this fun little thing they have to play around that's from the Sokovia. She's from Europe, and elements like that again tie into the Marvel fans that we very much know and love, and I love how all those smaller things come apart. Let's just talk about Catherine Hahn real fast, who strolls into the scene as Agnes to talk to Wanda and pretty much help her out. Hey, I'm the neighbor, how are you doing? And I'm already getting weird vibes from her. We got some weird vibes from her in the trailer, definitely, and we're getting those same exact things here, and I love, she literally, this is her scenario, and so far, she's just killed it in every single line delivery and every moment in that nature. Before we get to that final moment in this episode that was truly the most awe-inspiring thing. You know, we see Wanda and Vision just trying to survive the dinner, make the dinner, all sorts of magic and all kooky stuff exploding around us. And I really much liked that we got Mr. Hart and Mrs. Hart, who are very much two iconic actors and actresses who have appeared in tons of sitcoms over the years, especially that 70s show. I mean, Mrs. Hart, man, you made my day with all those episodes. But moving forward, the one thing I really love is we heard about commercials in here, but the first commercial we get in episode 1 is for a Stark Industries toaster. It's just cheeky, and I love how like they put it in there and they're like actually waiting for it to finish. It was very, very smart and unique, but it gets to the last vibe of this whole entire episode, which is the Twilight Zone vibe that I like to call it, where it's dark, a little bit more sinister. Mr. Hart is choking on his food, and Wanda, you know, we see a little bit of this in episode 2 as well, which we'll talk about. But you see that she's starting to stress and trying to realize what is going on deep in her membrane. And of course, we see Mr. Hart choking and everyone just sitting around, the camera zooming in, a little bit breaking the fourth wall in that sitcom era. And she goes, Vision, do something. And Vision uses his magic to pull the steak or whatever the hell they made out. And he survives, he gets promotion, all sorts of that stuff. And then they start talking because, you know, Wanda was getting ambushed with all these different questions and something bad happened, which again, we realize happens in episode 2 as well, which again, we'll talk about that in just a couple seconds. I really thought that was brilliant to see how they were able to double down on that and touch on that even more. And again, it's something that Wanda's doing to this world. But then, of course, they sit on the couch, they start talking about that they get their rings, they get all sorts of stuff like this, and it ends happily ever after, them kissing. It zooms in, it looks like a TV screen, and we see the sword logo in the corner, someone taking notes, and it cuts to the actual credits of the episode. And again, what a brilliant first episode. I adored this first episode, which now let's get into episode 2, which absolutely, again, is more of what we loved from that first episode to the second episode. This is just so brilliant. Like, it's brilliant, man. I'm so in love with this show already. Like, I cannot express my love for this show already. And like, do all the jokes? Absolutely not. But I have this big, stupid smile on my face watching this and just thinking Marvel took such a risk with this, especially opening up phase 4 with this. And it's already becoming one of my favorite things that Marvel has already done. I love when they do these unique things. And I think being able to make shows on Disney Plus now, including them within the movies, is going to make the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe open up even more. And getting characters like Wanda and Vision, who are characters that were mostly on the sidelines but had good big moments to them, it makes me excited to now go back and revisit some of their other films, because now I'm going to even know what's coming down the road for them both, especially Vision, we know. But episode 2, which I had to take more notes in. Of course, I mentioned different intro, song different as well. I like this intro. I like the song more for the first one, but I like this intro a little bit more. It kind of reminded me of the Jetsons, put a big smile on my face, even the nanny as well. And there's a lot of small things. You know, it opens up, it has the fun little thing of the two beds separated, which then Wanda puts it together, and they make love. As much as an android and a witch can, and you know where that's going. Straight from the beginning of this, you can totally tell that this is a different era now, a different style of sitcom, from the camera angles of everything of that nature. You can 100% tell that they took their time studying every element of a sitcom to make this work. And you gotta give credit to the directors and writers when it comes all across the board in that. One of the big things that happens before Scarlett ends up heading over with Agnes to Dottie's house to go to the country club and talk about the fair for the children, we have her go and find a little helicopter with the sword logo in the bush. But the big thing is, it has color to it. What is going on now? Move along, they're going to Agnes. Agnes is having this big conversation with her, saying, this is the person that you must get into. It becomes a little bit intense in those elements. Of course, then we move along a little bit longer. We have some fun with our main characters. We see what's going on. We're bonding with the country club, and it gives us our introduction, which I screamed, because if you're a Marvel fan, you know where this is going. I'm not going to say her actual name. Of course, Tiana Paris comes into play right here, and I had the biggest smile on my face because she just fits into this world so perfectly right there, and I can't wait to see what they do with her character more down the road, because we know what she is also announced for, but again, I'm going to stay away from that. All the little things at this country club thing, and one of the things that really stuck out to me the most was, again, Agnes's one-liners like, oh, how can anyone get through this sober? Catherine Hahn just kills it. But I love Elizabeth Olsen's just little mannerisms. When she has the cookie in her mouth and Dottie calls her out, that facial just felt so perfect for a sitcom, and it just put a big smile on my face. But of course, it comes down to it where she has to clean up. Dottie and her didn't get on the right track, but they're having to clean up and all this stuff, and then her and Dottie start having this conversation, and Dottie intimidates her, and she starts getting stressed. The music starts changing on the radio to a completely different time era, and of course, she breaks the glass, cuts her hand, and you see the blood all there, and it's actually red, it's not black and white. Opens up a little bit more, becomes a little bit less stressful, and we see where that going from there. But of course, now we go back to Vision, who was trying to do a magician act, but he's also trying to join the neighborhood watch, have some great conversations, and there are just some funny, ho ho ho, the boys getting together, but of course he chews gum, which messes up his circuitry. That was funny, just seeing the visual of that. Again, going back to those classic sitcom eras and just seeing how that goes. One of the things I actually forgot that I just recognized I wrote in my notes was Randall Park. We hear his voice saying, "Wanda, who is doing this to you? Wanda, who is doing this to you?" on the radio. And we hear this also at the very end of the episode 2. Then opens up the doors of what is going on. Are they trying to break through? Are they trying to get in? This is what's making this show so interesting. And I'm literally... like, I need every single episode of this right now, but it's also going to be great to, like, theorize with my girlfriend and my friends, my family, to discuss what is going on with Wanda and Vision. Of course, it goes over to the magic show, which, a little small detail I noticed, the lady who messed up with the chairs with Dottie, she's now the horse mascot. I thought that was just funny. I don't know if everyone else noticed that, but I thought that was funny. And of course, we do start, before we head on into our magic show, we end up getting a new commercial for a watch, which is called a Strucker watch, and it has the Hydra symbol in it, which we all know who Hydra is, but Baron Strucker, who is from Avengers Age of Ultron, let's just keep that in mind. I got you. I see what you're doing, Kevin Feige. Of course, we end up getting to the magic show for the children. Vision shows up late. His gum is messing up his circuitry, and they're doing a magic show, but he's actually doing the magic that he's not supposed to, so Wanda's having to fix it and kind of going around it, and kind of gave me Sabrina and the Teenage Witch, like, vibes from that old sitcom, and I just thought that was funny. It put a smile on my face. Of course, they end up winning over everyone's hearts, and they get a trophy for most entertaining ever for this year. It was nice. They got to leave. They got to go home. They have this great conversation on the couch. Turns out Wanda is now pregnant. You know, we talked about earlier how they slept together. And they hear this weird noise outside. They head outside, the same noise that they heard the day before. And they see this little vent moving on the ground. And this beekeeper comes out. And Wanda didn't like that. And she decides to reverse the whole thing. And now they're back. They're talking, is this real? Blah, blah, blah. And Vision's all of a sudden colored. And the whole room starts to turn colored, and that's where it gets us down to episode 3, everyone. It opens up the world, and man, you know, it's like ball drop after ball drop after ball drop. It hooked me to episode 3, and I can't wait to see where we go in that episode. Because, of course, we see the beekeeper, we see Wanda's pregnant, she reverses it, turns all the colors, she's still pregnant, we're getting her children with Vision very soon, and I am just a nerd for all this, guys. This is what I love about Marvel, and this is what I love about comic book films and shows and everything of that nature. This is so exciting, and I can't wait to hear your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section, so make sure to leave them down below, as well as hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on content like this over here on a daily basis. Starting next week, we'll be doing episode 3 spoiler reviews at this very exact same time. Once the episode drops, I'll be here waiting for you guys to talk about WandaVision all in full spoiler detail. Now, guys, thank you so much again. Make sure to comment down below and let me know your guys' theories, as well as head on over to Sandwich from Films on how to see films early, and of course, it's a big thing to you and a big thing to my Patreon supporters. Without you, I wouldn't be able to do this. I really cannot wait to hear your guys' theories and thoughts on these first 2 episodes. I absolutely enjoyed them, and it's going to be a blast talking with you guys about them. So, of course, until next time, stay classy.